as we know, today is January 23rd of 2022. What does that mean and why is it so big right now? Well, that has to do a lot with taxes. Today is the official day the IRS is starting to accept tax returns. Although today is the official day for taxes and e-filing, do not expect your return to come in super quick. Still wait about the 2 to 3 week threshold, but it could take longer. That is what we're facing with the IRS, and that is a huge problem. I hope you guys can just bear with me and just, stick around. As we all know, I love taxes, but as we all know, everyone doesn't like to do taxes. Everybody pushes this day off as late as they can. Everyone always doesn't want to do taxes. Who wants to do taxes? Most of the people that do taxes do get a return, but this is probably going to be one of the busiest seasons of tax filing year. Again, the Internal Revenue Service, as I'm checking here on finance, yahoofinance.com, the Internal Revenue Service is now accepting and processing 2022 federal tax returns filed electronically. So if you are filing your taxes electronically through e-file, they are starting to accept them today. So if we were to do them today and I would press submit, as soon as I submit without any issues, the IRS would get your tax forms already and they would start processing them ASAP, especially if they owe you money. But now there's a huge update with the federal tax extension with states and the federal. So if you were a victim of the severe storms that have been happening recently within the last 6 months, whether you're California, Georgia, and Alabama, those are the main 3 states that do get an extension. But the extension only, instead of the regular extension for normal Americans on April 18, 2023, that's when you should be done with your taxes. But if you're not a resident of any of those states that I just listed, and you're a resident of California, Georgia, and Alabama, you have an extension till May 15th. So don't rush those taxes if you have an issue with, it could be family, it could be personal, it could be anything. Don't rush your taxes. You have till May 15th. Those taxes have those states have automatically given you an extension. Here's why I said don't feel compelled to rush your taxes, especially if you file early. Don't expect your return to come earlier than expected. It could take longer than 2 to 3 weeks. With how short the IRS has been recently, I believe it's going to take 3 to 5 weeks, maybe even longer to get your return. But it says, according to Yahoo Finance, the IRS expects to receive more than 168 million individual tax returns this year. The fastest way to get your tax refund is by filing electronically and choosing direct deposit, according to the tax agency. I needed a water break. But it says we've trained thousands of new employees to answer phones and help people. While much work remains after several difficult years, we expect people to experience improvements this tax season, Acting IRS Commissioner Doug O'Donnell said in a press statement earlier this month. That's just a start as we work to add new long-term transformation efforts, and that will make things smoother in the future years. They were supposed to hire 87,000 auditors. I don't even think they've hired even 5,000 of those 87 yet. But don't expect your return to come in this quick. It's gonna take a while. So if you guys look at my last video, I'll explain why your tax returns are gonna be a lot smaller than what you're going to expect. The IRS Free File program opened on January 13th with participating providers accepting completed returns and holding them until Monday, which is today. The program allows taxpayers who earn $73,000 or less in 2022 to file their tax electronically at no cost using software provided by the tax filing companies. Yes, they are free, but that's just if you're making a basic W-2. If you're adding any additional assets or forms, they are charging you. That is not free. Here are other key dates during the tax filing season you should know. Monday, January 23rd, as we all know, is the tax date. Tuesday, January 31st, which I believe is going to be next week, business and companies must provide W-2 forms to employees by January 31st, either electronically or by mail. Reach out to your employer if you don't receive a copy of your W-2 by early February. If your employer is not available, contact the IRS at 800-TAX-1040 for assistance. Businesses and companies also must provide certain 1099 statements to recipients by January 31st of 2023. That goes under the 1099 NEC, 1099 miscellaneous, which is the 1099 MIC, 1099 DIV, which is for dividends and distributions, 1099 INT for interest income, and 1099-Rs for retirement distributions. Reach out to your 1099 payers if you don't get your statements by early February, according to the IRS. If payers are not available, contact the IRS at 800-TAX-1040 for assistance. Now, Wednesday, February 15th is another key date. By law, the IRS must wait until mid-February to issue tax refunds for taxpayers who claimed either the EITC, which is the Earned Income Tax Credit, or the ACTC, Additional Tax Credit. If you claim these credits, file your return electronically and select direct deposit. The earliest you can expect your tax return is February 28th, the IRS said, as long as there is no issues with your return. Additionally, businesses and companies must provide brokerage, 1099 statements, etc., etc. Another March 15th is another huge one. Partners and investors in a partnership should file their partnership return by this date. Partners' returns include Schedule K-1s, forms that show an individual share of earnings, losses, and dividends. The Schedule K-1 are for the taxpayers to keep unless otherwise instructed. A taxable amount are included in the taxpayers' returns, and income partnerships can request a six-month extension to file their tax returns. This request is separate from the extension request for individual tax returns. The other big key date, mark your calendars on this one, is Tuesday, April 18th, also known as Tax Day. Tax Day traditionally falls on April 15th, but this year the date falls on a Saturday. Typically, the next business day after April 15th is Tax Day, which would be April 17th this year. But that is also the District of Columbia's local holiday. Emancipation Day, which the IRS observes. That means Tax Day this year is on April 18th, which is the deadline for filing tax return electronically or requesting an automatic extension. So if you need to apply for an automatic extension, you have till April 18th. And taxes are usually due April 15th. So you're getting an additional 3 days to file taxes. There's no reason why people should be filing late. You can also make 2022 contributions to traditional IRAs, Roth IRA, SEP IRA, health savings account, or solo 401k by this date. You can also withdraw excess contributions if your tax return has not been filed. Another key date is Monday, May 15th. As I said earlier, victims of the severe storms in California, Georgia, and Alabama now have the postponed tax deadline of this date to file individual and business returns and make payments. So if you are one of those victims and you've lived in those states, you have an extension to file those returns. There are other key dates to be aware of, but I'm going to drop the link in my description box so you guys are able to see and keep track with the dates on and updates of the importance of taxes, but also just to keep up and make sure you guys are being on time with your tax returns. That is it for this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, and follow me on all social media platforms. They will be listed down in the description box for updates and key updates. Follow me on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram to keep updated with taxes and other financial things that are going on around not only the world but also in the US. Make sure to like and follow, and thanks again, and God bless. Make sure you guys do your taxes on time.